Alrighty, so my fire season started on an engine crew. It was really fun. Went to a couple fires in Washington and then Oregon, and got to learn a lot about fires in Central Oregon my first season. My second season in, I was still on the same crew, but instead of just being on an engine crew, I was able to go on a hand crew and what they call a throw together crew. So just people from all over Central Oregon made a 20-person crew, and we went to Alaska. Also just did some fires in Oregon and Washington as well. And then my third season, I was in a Type 2 IA crew, which is initial attack crew. So just kind of what is underneath a hotshot, basically based on qualification requirements, which I can explain later. But I was doing that. We went to a lot of places. We went to Arizona, lots of different places in Washington and Oregon. So in no particular order, I'm just going to list off a couple of different crews that you can be on in fire. So first, I have Hell Attack that I'm looking into, just looking at that on Google search. And these are people that are on a crew, and they are using a helicopter, and they will hover out. And they're called repellers, the people who are hovering over or under the helicopter to fires, or to pick up supplies or deliver supplies or people, and they can kind of be the eyes of a fire that people can't see in a bird's eye view. But they work out really hard, and you'll learn a lot of really cool things doing Hell Attack. So that is Hell Attack. Okay, next I'm going to be looking up smoke jumpers. They're also very well trained. They kind of do their own training like hot shots, where you have to pass their physical training to get on to smoke jumpers. And they are the ones that jump out of the planes, and they try to go to the remote areas where people can't hike up to in the same period of time that they would be able to get there. Hot shots are a specific hand crew that is qualified as a Type 1 IA crew, meaning that they are 20 people but also have a certain amount of qualifications that has them available to go out more frequently, and they are supposed to be physically fit and ready to where they can keep going all summer long, and they are expected to do so. So that's the difference between maybe a Type 2 IA crew. I mean, you can still go out just as much, but Type 1s are kind of the first pick before a Type 2 on certain line construction or getting to the fire's edge. Okay, and then the last crew I will talk about is an engine crew. They are known to have the engines, and they are the ones that know a lot about water, pressure, and hose lay. Hopefully they know more about hose lay than all the other crews, but it is part of the requirement for all crews to know about hose lay. But we would hope that the engine crew knows more, considering they are the ones that are with water more often. But yeah, they still get to travel just as much, and they are just kind of the first responders with water, unlike a hand crew that are first responders without water and rely on the engine crews to come in with water and be the available water source. Okay, so I probably said this phrase a couple of times, and that is fire line construction. My best analogy for what fire line construction is the line is the foundation of an imaginary wall between the fire and what hasn't been burnt yet. And this imaginary wall, the line that you're digging, has to be deep enough that it reaches bare soil, which means that there is no leaves or pine litter to help the fire to continue on. So we have the fire and then unburnt fuels, or an area that hasn't been burnt yet. And then you'll have people hiking from the bottom or wherever they're hiking from, and they're gonna dig line to wherever they need to, but there's gonna be some space between them and the fire, and then behind them is gonna be stuff that hasn't been burnt yet, whether it's grass, trees, or shrubs. Thanks for watching through my video. Wildland firefighting has treated me really well. It's been really great for me for going to school. I don't really like working super duper hard when I'm doing full-time school, so it was perfect during my college time. So I would have those couple of months of school, and then as soon as summer hit, I would just work super hard and make the amount of money that I wanted to in the shorter period of time, which was ideal for me. So if you want to do short term, like your life is just working for a short period of time, then I think that works really well. And then of course, like if you want to move further and make it your career, then that's a whole nother story too. But it's a good segue to see if you want to do that as a career. And then also just traveling a lot. It's super fun when you get to be on whatever crew you're on. You get to travel different out of state, or even just like traveling within the state. Like I grew up in the upper northwest corner of Washington state, so even going to Eastern Washington, I've never even been there before, and I was like, wow, it's so sad that I grew up in Washington state and didn't even realize like where the different cities were. I thought Spokane was at the bottom of the state, which I realized that it is not. But it's just cool to kind of like know the popular cities and kind of know your way around the states. And especially when you're traveling a lot, you can go, like I almost went to Wisconsin last year, and that would have been a super fun trip with everyone. But it's just interesting how much I really didn't understand where all the states were aligned until I actually traveled through them. And then I did a little segue to prescribed burning, because prescribed burning season is super fun. You could do a full season of fire. You could do what I did and do prescribed burning in Georgia from January to May, and then from May to October or November you can do suppression life or wildland firefighting life, and then you could do a couple of months off. Yes, prescribed burning is a career that you can do if you don't want to do the suppression life. So I just want to throw that out there, that there is a huge world of what fire can bring you. Wildland firefighting, if you want to get a job in that, when you join fire, most likely joining in as on a hand crew or an engine is kind of a good segue into the other options. You can definitely go on to a hotshot crew, but going on into a helitack crew or smoke jumpers is not necessarily the route that is. I don't want to say you can't do it, but I don't know how you do it without being on a hand crew or an engine. For a new position or trying to move up, then you will have to apply for fire depending on which region you want to work in. So the state is broken down into different regions. So for me, I'm familiar with like Region 6 and Region 5. Region 5 is the state of California. Region 6 is Washington, Oregon. So if you want to apply for those seasons, they normally have their applications open up between September, October. But yeah, everyone has their own different times that you apply for fire season. Like Region 3, I think, is New Mexico, Arizona. They open up their application fire hire time a little bit earlier, just because they start earlier, and they normally end earlier than most places, but if you're a hotshot, then maybe not. Or if you're a perm, then. So hopefully that was good information, and I hope you liked it. And thanks for tuning in again to Vicariously Living. Or is that this way? This way? I don't know. I don't remember.